And welcome back to the Cincinnati Sports Podcast, your home for everything Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, and FC Cincinnati. You know, we're here every week breaking down the highs, the lows, and all the hot takes that keep Cincinnati sports fans talking. Tonight, we got a packed show for you. The Bengals struggles, along with the massive question about who is playing quarterback for us in the future. Momentum heading into the postseason, and of course, UC's first big upset of the Satterfield era. We also got our Mount Rushmore names coming up, and then later we'll dive into a Reds full season recap, the highlights, the heartbreaks, and what has to change if we want to contend for championships in 2026. So sit back, join the conversations, and let's get rolling with episode number 148 of the Cincinnati Sports Podcast. All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Bengals and what that means moving forward. Those of you that haven't heard, Joe Flacco is coming to Cincinnati. He's in Cincinnati practice this week, or actually today. Zach, typical Zach, said that, they pretty much went over the playbook as he was driving down from Cleveland because, Cincinnati's too cheap to fly him down. Those kind of things.
Maybe he hitched a ride with Boomer coming in for the...
Maybe he did. So those of you that recognize that voice, that is our own Charlie Crowley. He is back today with the show because he wants to really talk about the Reds and go over our season stats, those kind of things that we had our predictions early. So we welcome him back to the show. And of course, Sam is over there as well. Real quick, got some stats here. Probably this is the reason why they needed to change at quarterback from Jake Browning. They've been outscored 113-37 in the 3 straight losses, 69-9 in the first half, 97-9 in the first 3 quarters. So give me your take. I mean, what's good about this team? What's not good? Obviously, we know that, but is this a positive move? Did you like the move? Talk to me.
I didn't know that it was on the table, to be honest. I guess, after the Browns decided to move on from Flacco and go with Gabriel, I guess that opened up the door. But, I mean, it's a short-term play, obviously. That's, they're just going to try and squeak a couple games out. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to expect. I have a feeling it's going to go, first game he'll be all right, show some signs. We'll be like, okay, I can see how this would work. He'll win the second game, and then third game is just going to blow up, just absolutely blow up. And that's if he makes it out of Green Bay alive, because Micah Parsons literally might kill him. So
it's probably going to be the most Bengal thing that they, this is the 4th trade they've ever made during the season. The fourth trade. And the last time Mike Brown did something this bold was when he moved up to draft Kajana Carter. And we all know how that went, of a certain age out there listening. That's what I think is going to happen here. Like you said, Sam, Micah Parsons is going to be coming off the edge, or he's going to do a stunt inside, and Dylan Fairchild's going to whiff again, or Rutledge going to whiff again, and Flacco can't move, and he's going to get killed, and it's going to be like he's going to have a injury, like dislocated elbow or something, hit his hand on a helmet, one of those fluke injuries that he's going to be done for the year, and we got to go back to Jake Browning, and the backup to Jake then would be Sean Clifford. Yes, that's Sean Clifford from Penn State, from St. Xavier High School here in Cincinnati.
I'd have a local kid on the team.
Yeah, exactly. So, they got rid of Rippon, and they got rid of whoever the other quarterback was. Mike White. Yeah,
Mike White.
See ya. Thanks for being around. So, Crowley, your take on the Flacco signing, and do you have hope?
The Bengals have a Super Bowl winning quarterback on the roster for the first time. So
they do.
We always wanted that. So There we go. I was surprised just because the Bengals are so boring that even this move is surprising. And it's Joe Flacco. He couldn't even start for the Browns. So now I mean, what do you got to lose? I think I'm fine with it because you don't really have anything, to lose on this. They only gave up from a 5th round to a 6th round
fifth
pick.
round.
So
5th round pick.
So it's fine. Like they're not going to the playoffs and winning the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco as the quarterback. But as bad as Jake Browning played, I mean, I didn't think he played that bad. I mean, partly because a couple years ago he didn't play anywhere near that bad. So I was surprised as how bad he played, but he was horrible. So I mean, the Bengals at least are saying we're not just giving up on the season. So let's try Joe Flacco. I mean, they don't really have any other options. People are talking about trading for Russell Wilson. He's washed up.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, he's a goof. So, I mean, and they weren't going to pay Kirk Cousins. So there really wasn't, what else can you do? So throw him in there, see what he does. Hopefully he doesn't get his head knocked off.
He can still spin the deep ball. He's just got to have time to throw it.
He's got receivers to throw to now. I mean, he did it in Cleveland.
Right.
They have after they get through these next 2 games, they have a pretty weak schedule. So the Jets are like the 3rd game, and I think they're after Pittsburgh. There's like so many straight teams that are below 500 and stuff. Now one of them is probably the Ravens, and if Lamar Jackson's back, they're not going to be under 500 forever.
No, but
it's fine. It's just okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it doesn't move the needle for me, just because our defense is so horrible, and we just cannot stop anybody. Even though I thought they played better last week for the first quarter. Granted, the first drive, Detroit did anything they wanted to do. And then when we absolutely needed a stop in the 4th quarter, we didn't get it. Detroit just went down and scored a touchdown. So, in between those, they played a little better. But, when they got to Jared Goff to make him rush his throws, they had success. But, that's been the key for the Bengals here. All right. Anything else moving forward on the Bengals that we want to talk about before we go to FC Cincinnati?
I mean, would anybody be picking the Bengals for this game?
No.
Would you pick them to cover the spread?
I don't know what the spread even
14.
is.
14 is the spread.
14.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I think you kind of have to with that number.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I would think.
I mean, even last week it wasn't 14, right? It was, 28-17?
No.
What was the final score?
37-24, because they had that safety at the end.
They still covered. I would think that they would. I would take them to cover.
And
that's a lot of points.
Flacco beat Green Bay for Cleveland's only win of the year.
With Cleveland. Yeah.
With Cleveland. Yeah.
Cleveland's defense. That is true. Packers. They scored 10 points to win that game.
And Micah Parsons wasn't, I don't know if he was playing yet or not at that time.
He played.
Did he play?
Yeah.
Did he? I mean, he wasn't up there.
Limited, but yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's go to FC Cincinnati here, guys, because that's the 1-0 victory of New York Red Bulls, only team that shown life for fighting for the playoffs and has a real shot at winning the championship, MLS championship. So your takes on the Red Bull game and moving forward here, what are you looking for in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as what I've been saying the past couple weeks. These games are kind of tune-ups, just make sure everybody stays healthy, because I'm all in on the playoffs, trying to win MLS Cup, not so much the Supporters Shield. They got 1 regular season game left. I don't know if they can even.
They can. Philadelphia's already clinched it. Philadelphia clinched it.
So then there we go. So yeah, I mean, this game coming up, I think that would mean that they're 2 seed, 3 seed right now. I don't know where Miami's at.
Yeah, it'll be 2 or 3.
I mean, they're pretty much locked in to a high seed. I would just, and you're playing Montreal, you can afford to rest some guys, just get some guys healthy, have some fresh legs coming up. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch the Red Bulls game, so I don't really know how that played out. But you get 3 points, you get 3 points. So
yeah, I did watch quite a bit of it. I saw the Denke goal, which was a great goal. I still am nervous about their attack, their offense. They have a lot of new pieces, and they've only been playing together for 4 or 5 games. It's, they're not scoring. I mean, Red Bulls are not even in the playoffs, and they probably had better chances over the course of the game than FC did. So I wasn't, they won, great. But, if it was a boxing match, it was on points, Red Bulls probably would have won. We'll see what happens, but they're not winning 1-0 in the playoffs. They gotta get a few more goals. I think they have the pieces now, but they still got to do it on the field. So we'll see.
All right. Best of luck to the blue and orange. Big news in Clifton. UC defeats ranked Iowa State. It was the first win over a ranked opponent since 2022. So is as we say, is HatSat the key to this turnaround? And then can they keep it going in Big 12 play? Raleigh, you're at the game, right?
I was, yeah.
Talk to us.
Well, offensively, the Bearcats right now are the anti-Bengals. They have a really, really good offensive line, and everything is coming out of that offensive line. They're running the ball. I mean, they were in the first half, they were averaging 12 yards a rush. So, again, Bengals aren't averaging 12. They're not getting 12 yards a rush in a game almost. So it's, offensive lines, doing really, really well, especially with some new pieces in it. The running backs, they got a good combo of running backs that they're figuring out. One's more it's kind of thunder and lightning. Latawi Walker's the thunder and Evan Pryor's the lightning, working those guys well. The receivers are significantly better than last year. And then Sorsby is playing probably about as well as Sorsby can play. He's on the Heisman watch right now.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Nobody would have put any money on that before the season. So
No.
So if he stays at that level, if the offensive line stays healthy and continues to produce at that level, offensively they should continue to do well. Defensively, they're not still great. They let up a lot of yards, even though they had really, two really good wins, the last two with Kansas and Iowa State. They were both I think Kansas was over 500 yards of offense, and Iowa State was like 450 or something. A lot of yards, pretty decent number of points, so they got to figure that out. They had a few more stops against Iowa State. Having Corleone back was definitely helpful. So, but I'm hopeful. They got, these next two games are key because they'll be favored, quite a bit favored. So they can't, pull a Cincinnati and lose one of these next two games.
Yeah.
They'll be bowl eligible. Just that alone, if they win the next two.
Nice.
And then they go from there. The last five are against all winning teams, but it gives them a chance. They're in as good a position as I could have hoped for right now.
So they got UCF coming into town, right, this week?
Yeah.
And then next week.
And then Oklahoma State, who's the worst team in the Big 12.
Maybe in the Power Four.
Power Four, yeah.
They are bad. Awful. They are bad.
So, so I think there's optimism, definitely have a lot of optimism with the Bearcats right now. As much as we, if they end up coming out of this 6-1, 5 games left, can they win 3 of them, get to 9 wins? That would be above, I think most people were saying 7 just to break even,
right.
8 they'd be happy with. So I'm, we'll see. The pieces, they're showing a lot of promise.
Yep. I think it's all relates to Satterfield going to the baseball cap, got rid of his visor, and all that superstition and whatever. Looks like a football coach now, so he's ready to roll. Maybe all that offensive genius will stay inside his head instead of going out.
Yeah, instead of evaporating. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So let's hope that they get bowl eligible, and he is coaching probably for his job. And let's hope they don't do what they did a couple of years ago, where they lost every single game after the first
year. That was just last year.
Last year.
Oh, last year.
They lost the last 5.
Yeah.
They lost. They were 5-3 at one point, I think, or
5
something.
5 and 2. 5 and 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's.
Yeah, but I think it shows you, Bengals, from the Bengals standpoint, like, again, they don't. It's not that they don't invest in their offensive line; they just don't know how to evaluate and they get the right linemen in there, and Bearcats, for whatever reason, have hit on a good group of 5 and how important that is. So it's kind of like it's the Eagles' approach. So
build in trenches, and then everything else will be good. All right. So now we have our Mount Rushmore edition real quick. We're throwing this in the week that was our quick hitters, just because we're going to be spending a lot of time on the Red season recap and our topic of the week. So let's talk real quick about the Mount Rushmore. The names are Davis, Evans, and Ford. So Charlie, since you are our guest, we'll let you go first. You can read us your Davis's names.
And I know coming in, having done this, you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be sports figures, but
Correct.
most of mine are still sports figures, just because
Okay.
this is a sports podcast.
It is. But hey,
I still focus. Not everyone, but so my Davises. I had to start with Eric Davis, and then
who
I
was
have
it?
Eric Davis,
Eric. Okay.
Eric the Red,
Right.
and then I have Al Davis, and then I have Anthony Davis, and then my one non-sports is Viola Davis, the Oscar winner.
Okay. All right. Sam, who you have?
Oh, I'm trying to remember since I have to do this on my phone. I did have Al Davis. I did have Eric Davis, but I can't remember the other two that I had. Trying to think here real quick who they were. I did this today on my lunch break. So Al, Eric, I can't remember the other two I had. If I think of them, I'll shout them out.
All right. So my four, I had Al Davis, I had Betty Davis, I had Sammy Davis Jr., and then I had Miles Davis.
Man, you didn't have Eric Davis?
I did not have Eric Davis. I was going to. I mean, he's on my list, but I did not have him on Mount Rushmore because, yeah, I went with Al Davis for the sports guy. All right, so all of us had Al. 2 out of 3 had Eric, and then now we need to come up with the last two for.
I like Sammy Davis.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like Sammy Davis.
All right.
And who was your last one?
I had Miles Davis.
Davis.
And then Betty Davis.
I thought of Miles. That was one I considered. So whatever you think.
Sam, do you remember any of yours? Other two?
No. Miles is good with me.
All right, so we'll go with Miles.
I mean, another one I had was I had thought about was Ernie Davis.
Ernie Davis, yeah. I had him listed up here as well. All right, so we'll go with Miles Davis over Betty Davis's eyes. So there we go. Now we're going into the Evans. So we'll start with Sam.
Don't start with me.
Okay,
I got to think.
All right, so we'll go with me. So the Evans, there's quite a few Evans out there that I was like, okay. So the first one is Chris Evans, Captain America, right? The next one is Linda Evans, Dynasty. And then there's 2 Mike Evanses. One, the football player, and then Mike Evans, who was Lionel from the Jeffersons. So we'll go with Mike Evans.
Who is Mike Evans, a football player?
A Bucks receiver?
Bucks receiver, yeah.
Oh, that Mike Evans. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even think of him.
Yeah. And then my last one.
It's such a generic
Bob
name.
Evans, down on the farm.
Yeah.
So you gotta have Bob Evans, little biscuits and gravy action up there.
Am I going or Sam, you going?
The only one I remember off the top of my head is Chris Evans, Captain America.
I had Chris Evans as well.
Right, so
and then I also had Bob. I had Bob as well. Bob Evans.
Chris and Bob.
Yeah. And then my other two were Jacob Evans, who was a UC basketball player from not super long ago. And I had Dwight Evans, Red Sox.
Yeah, I had Dewey. I had Dewey on my list, but I was like, is he better than the 2 Mikes? Probably. So we'll go with Dwight. And then all we can either come up with a Mike Evans, a Linda Evans, or that Jacob Evans, unless you can come up with one, Sam.
I like Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike
underrated
Evans,
receiver, 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
I like Mike Evans on there.
Another Evans I have on the list is Dale Evans, who is Roy Rogers' wife. So I'm just saying.
Let's stick with Mike Evans.
Hey, for those old timers out there.
Yeah, real old timers.
So there we go. All right. Now we're going to go with the Fords. This could be interesting here. Charlie, why don't you go ahead and start with the Fords?
Okay, my 4 are Henry Ford, auto guy, Harrison Ford, Han Solo, Indiana Jones, Gerald Ford, and Whitey Ford.
Oh,
Yankees pitcher.
that's a good one. I totally forgot
That
about
was my favorite of the three names. That was my best group. Was the Fords.
That was solid. Yeah, I had Henry Ford, Gerald Ford, Harrison Ford, and then it was a tie between Betty Ford and Tennessee Ernie Ford.
What? Tennessee Ernie.
Yeah, Tennessee Ernie. Look him up. You'll know who he is.
I've heard of Tennessee Ernie Ford. I just never thought of that.
Sam, who's your Fords?
So I had the big three as well: Harrison, Gerald, and Henry. And then my fourth is former Texas basketball player TJ Ford.
Ooh, it's a good one. That's a good one.
Really good college ball player. Got injured in the pros, so unfortunately didn't work out for him. But I loved watching him play.
That is true. That is true. Chris Ford too, from the Celtics coach there for a while. But all right, so we've got three for sure. You guys can decide who your fourth one is, since you guys don't like my Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Well, you said who was the other Ford? You had a different
Ford.
one.
I had Betty Ford.
Yeah, Betty Ford. That's better than
Betty Ford
Tennessee
Clinic.
Ernie Ford.
Come on now.
I don't know. I like Whitey Ford. I think he's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he? Whitey Ford.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, if he's in the Hall of Fame, I think he's got to go on there.
Yep. So, all right, let's go to Whitey Ford there. All right. So there you have it. So next week's will be what is it? Hinj or E?
We just did E.
I'm sorry.
Say your ABCs.
I am G, H, and I. There we go. I was trying to find the trivia question. My goodness. Hey, I've been at Finneytown too long, so can't read.
Right, I know. We've gotten dumb.
Oh, goodness. I'm trying to find my trivia. I lost it. I don't know where it's at.
I'll review mine from last week. So I can't remember the answer to the first part because some golfer from the 90s. Second part, Crowley, we'll see if you get this. Name the
Is it a golf question?
golf question.
Oh God, yeah.
It's there are three players that have won 10 or more majors. Who are the three players?
Oh, Tiger Woods is one of them.
Tiger Woods is one.
I just said Tiger Woods. Yeah, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and
Jack Nicklaus is two.
I'm guessing
Dad got those two.
I'm guessing one of the old timers now.
It is an old timer.
Sam Snead or
not Snead, a little after Snead, but
yeah, it would come to me when I'm probably somebody like the 40s and 50s or something.
Yep. It was Walter Hagen.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of him. I was thinking of a couple other guys. Okay, how many did Palmer end up with?
He was at 8, I believe.
Arnold, yeah, I think so. 8. Yep. All right, so here it is. Since we're talking Reds, we got a little scoreboard stumper here for you. MLB history: 4 players whose last name begins with the letter M have collected 2,000 or more career hits with 200 or more home runs and 200 or more stolen bases. Who are they?
So 4 guys in MLB history?
In MLB history.
4 M's.
Last name begins with M, so that we could be thinking about this on Mount Rushmore as well.
So Willie Mays.
Willie Mays is one.
Mickey Mantle.
No.
No? You didn't have the stolen bases then, I guess.
Correct.
I thought he was faster than that.
He was, but then he blew out his knees.
Them having,
Yeah.
Kind of surprised he didn't get the 200 steals.
Willie McCovey?
Nope.
Probably not the steals. Edgar Martinez was who I thought of, but he probably didn't have the steals.
Nope.
Who was I just thinking? Roger Maris didn't have that much.
No.
Yeah.
No, Mickey Mantle had 153 steals.
So Willie Mays is all we have so far.
You're missing an obvious one besides Willie.
Sure. Well, it's probably a Red. There's got to be some Reds connection.
Joe Morgan.
There we go.
Joe Morgan.
There you go. Got to be a Reds connection. It was a scoreboard stumper. I assume that's the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
When you said that one, was the obvious one.
Right. So Mays and Morgan were the 2 obvious ones. Now, I could put it in context of who they were playing, because that would give it, like they always have it's either about the
It had to
Reds
be
or
somebody recent, right? One of the
Yep.
last
Yep.
series or whatever. So,
Yes.
which was who? Cubs and Brewers, and it wouldn't be the
Well, the
Brewers. They
Brewers
were on
were
the
away,
road.
so I didn't
Were
have to
away.
worry
So,
about that.
well, who did I go and watch? I went to one of the games. Who did I even see play? They lost. Who'd they play
Paul
in that last
Skeens.
series?
Paul Skeens was
Pirates.
pitching.
Yeah, Pirates.
Yeah.
That's who
Yes.
I didn't see
Yeah.
Skeens. I saw the game
Okay,
before.
Pirates, Andrew
Yeah.
McCutchen.
Andrew McCutchen is
Okay.
that.
There you go.
And then the last one, American League guy.
Like,
And I would
old school guy, or
not like old school, not like
Molitor? Paul Molitor?
Paul Molitor is correct.
nice.
Way to go. I would have never got that one. Maybe, but I don't think I would have. Yeah, there you have it. So those are the 4. All right. Good job. If you out there in listening land want to submit a question for us, go ahead at cincysportsteam@yahoo.com, or you can always find us on YouTube or Instagram and Twitter at Cincy Sports Scene and drop us a comment there with your question. And if we pick it, read it on the air, you may get something nice to wear eventually. There we go. All right, so now we're going to be talking about the Cincinnati Reds recap. And when we began the baseball season, we made our bold predictions, and we're going to review those here in a little bit. But some of the highlights of the season, at least for me, were the playoffs, obviously making the playoffs, and then some of the players that surprised me. Both I thought Pagan really stepped up in the closer role. That surprised me a little bit, especially from how bad he was in year 1 here in Cincinnati. Another was Marte, Novelli Marte. His bat stayed relevant all year long, even though he had to move from third base and then he'd go out in the outfield trying to learn to play outfield. And you could probably say he had the biggest catch in Reds' recent history to secure that win, to still have that hope for the
Yeah,
playoffs.
because I mean, that's a home run. They tie that game, but they'd lose in extras because that's just what the Reds would have done, and then they wouldn't have made the playoffs. Which, I mean, if they wouldn't have made the playoffs, oh well.
Yeah, right. But But
yeah, it was a great play.
So he surprised me a little bit, but I want you guys to talk about some of the highlights of the season for you and some of the players that surprised you. Then we'll obviously get into the lowlights and what we need to do for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too many highlights off the top of my head. The Marte catch was really good. Who did Hunter Green face when he had the complete game? Who was that? I can't even remember who that was against. Was it against the Cubs?
Cubs, yeah.
Cubs. Yeah, because that was in September, I believe, wasn't it? I mean, that was, his ace moment, for that time being anyways. I mean, that was really good. And then I always like seeing our guys on the All-Star game, even if they don't really play, just kind of being there is always a highlight. Especially when it's not the pity, one team has to have an All-Star guy. So,
right.
The Michael Lorenzen years or whatever.
Jumbo Diaz year, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alfredo Simon got the All-Star one year. Yeah.
Big pasta.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Carly, what about you?
For me, it's mostly on the pitching side. I thought the Brady Singer, I mean, we were talking about this before we started the show. The Brady Singer, Jonathan India trade was a plus win for the Reds. He led the team in innings. Not the greatest pitcher, but definitely quality 4 guy. So that definitely was a plus. The Andrew Abbott, taking another step up. I mean, had a really good season, made the All-Star team. So that was, good to see him. Pagan, I agree with you with Pagan. Santillan, I think could be the closer for next year, or at least in contention for that, because I don't, Pagan's probably going to be a little pricey. So, seeing Santillan be able to do that, Ashcraft did, for them was okay. I mean, enough to, bring him back and, let him run again. Chase Burns. So for me, it was, pitching staff. Hitting wise, I don't think really, we've talked about this for just, who from the hitting side was above expectations. And I agree, Marte was maybe was one.
He's probably the
Definitely
only
one, but
Yeah.
he might be the only one that was above
Yeah.
what we would have said at the beginning of the year. What is our expectations? And they went above that. So it's the pitching staff for me, which got him in the playoffs. It worked out to get him in, but they got to build on that, of course, now.
Exactly. Let's talk about some lowlights here. Obviously, the playoff exposed our main weaknesses: hitting with runners in scoring position, hitting off left-handed pitchers. That to me, that was bad. We're riding that high getting in. I always hate how you're sneaking in the back door, but you're in the playoffs. I wish they would have won that last game to just make sure that they were in the playoffs. The other lowlights, obviously, are one-loss record and one-run games and extra innings, especially early on in the year. I mean, shoot, we just go 500 in both of those games, and we're looking at second place all to ourselves in the Central Division. We don't even have to worry about fighting for that wild card spot because we're there. So, and then our depth, outfield depth and even infield depth. I just think that that's a concern still for us.
Yeah, for me, my biggest low light was Francona's approach, especially on offense. Just the approach that him and Flacco came up with for the guys. The no power. If that's what your players are, that's what your players are. But then they didn't get on base. They didn't run. Didn't play small ball, so they didn't manufacture runs. If they didn't hit a home run, they didn't score. And so, I mean, for me, that was an issue that plagued them all season. And it was really disappointing because we got some guys with some pop, and we play in top 3, top 5 hitter friendly ballpark, and to have 2 guys with 20 homers and that's it is, I mean, it's tough to win. You saw that. It was really tough for us to win games. Our pitching staff had to be that top 10 pitching staff in order for us just to squeak in. So that's definitely something that's going to have to be addressed.
Yeah, I agree. If they're not going to hit home runs, and you got to, you said manufacture runs, and they weren't good at doing that. They weren't good enough hitters, just consistent. How many games, again, the typical Reds, and I think this year was even worse, of the score 10 one day and, the next 3 they score 1, total kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just so inconsistent. And the Dodgers exposed them, good pitching. I mean, they just, there were guys on the, in the lineup. I felt late in the year. I felt, throughout the whole year. But, I mean, when McClain came up, you knew he wasn't getting it on base, or he wasn't getting a hit. When Key Brian Hayes came up, you knew he wasn't getting on base. Trevino. I mean, they were running guys a third of their lineup that, were like one
that bottom third.
1 for 26 and for 20. And I mean, just holes. And they can't have that. The best teams don't have that. The Brewers don't have that kind of stuff. So they gotta fix that, and of course it takes money to fix that, and that's
Yep. Looking at some of the things that you guys talked about, and some Sam with Francona, I still question Zach Littell pitching,
yeah.
Instead of Abbott in game 2.
Right.
I mean, it's a must-win game, right? It is a must-win game. And then Lodolo,
that whole thing was a mess.
Yeah.
It
14 pitches. Yeah. It's like, what is going on? And
why even use him if he's just going to be basically a regular lefty out of the pen? What's the point?
You could have let Lodolo go 3-4 innings.
Yeah. And then, the other thing, I guess this would be a low light for me as well, is our stars, our so-called stars, when it was time to shine the brightest, they burned out. They did not. Ellie was, playoff Ellie was no.
Just any big spot.
Yeah.
You just
had
the feeling
Hunter
he's not
Green,
coming through here.
Hunter Green going back home. Stage was set for a freaking storybook script, and Shohei showed you what a star does in those situations. So, it's one of those things. But speaking on, so we'll go to next year, what needs to happen to be a contender. and then who's going to be back on this roster and where. But before we do that, I've got some stats from 2024, David Bell's last year, and Francona's this year. It was offensive stats, right? Batting average, 2024, .231. This year was 245. On base percentage was .305 to 315. Slugging 388 to 391. OPS 693 to 705. OPS plus was 88 to 90. Runs last year 699. This year 716. K rate at 24.3 last year, 23.3 this year. Walk rate was at 8.3 last year and 8.7 this year. And then the EV was 87.2 and 87.9. The thing that I don't have is stolen bases, because last year they ran.
They definitely went down. Lower. Yeah, they definitely went down.
So that's just some things there that,
Did you say home runs?
I did not say home runs, so that's another thing.
The home runs, I would assume they were down.
I mean, they didn't hit a lot the year before either, though.
I know, but I still feel like they hit more than they did this year.
Yeah, let me see here.
Could be wrong.
I'll pull that up real quick. Let's see. Teams, Reds this year. Well, 67 home runs this year. Austin Wynns has 3 of those. And let's see, how about 2024 season? They had a total of
not much difference there.
No, not much.
I mean, but really, most of those numbers are that much different.
No, they're not.
They're not.
Stolen bases last year, as a team, 207, with Ellie leading the way with 67. He led all major leagues, right? With 67. Then in 2025 this year, anybody want to take a guess at how many stolen bases?
How many were the year before? What'd you say, 207?
207, yeah.
They're like 140.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere in there, 150.
105.
Basically,
so cut it in half.
Cut it in half. Yeah, and Ellie had 37 stolen bases.
30
so
less.
He was down 30 less.
Yeah. I mean, that's understandable if you're hitting 40 more homers than you are the year before. But to hit less homers, I mean, albeit by 10, but cut your steals in half is insane.
That's bad.
I mean, that's awful.
Granted, I mean, for probably half the year, he was playing with that quad hamstring.
He was, but it's not just him. I mean, we've got other athletes. I mean, that Friedel should be a high base stealer. McLean, McLean's got to get on base to steal them. So, I mean, that's part of the problem right there.
That is part of the problem. All right.
He should be close to 30 bags a year. Friedel, Marte should have a good number. Benson should have a good number.
Benson has to play.
Well, right, but that's another issue, that for whatever reason Francona refuses to play him. And
he had 12 home runs on the team.
Yeah, which is probably third, fourth?
Fourth at least, I think. Fourth or fifth. Yeah. And all right, so let's get into that next year. Okay, what needs to happen to be? And I'm not content. Obviously, we were in the playoffs this year. That's the expectations for this team with bringing in Terry Francona. Got to the playoffs. I know it's a learning experience for these kids. Never been there. Now they're there. Now they need to take that next step. Win a series. Maybe win 2 series. So what needs to happen? What needs to happen in order to make that a reality?
Top 3 things for me. Legit power bat. At this point, I don't even care what position. I'd have told you outfield throughout the year, but at this point, I don't care what position. Schwarber's a pipe dream, but he's going to cost way too much money. I know, Dad, we floated out Pete Alonso on, kind of that Castellanos type deal, where it's maybe a 3-4 year deal, but there's opt-outs after every year for him. So yeah, they need a legit power bat. Sal Stewart has to find a permanent position, whether it's first, second, third. He's got to find a permanent position. And then my third thing is a legit end of game. I don't think you can run it back and count on Pagan to have the season he did again. And I mean, I liked what Santion did, but I mean, he pitched 80 games this year. You said 81. I mean, that's a lot to ask for a guy, and then to put him in high leverage spots the following year, that would be a tough ask in my opinion. So I think they need that end of game reliever.
I think the dogs agree with you. They're barking. They're like, yes, sir. So I agree. I mean, the one thing I would say, yes, all of those are true. I think we need a reliable left-handed reliever in the bullpen as well. Suter was in there, but he wasn't. I mean, Frank Conan didn't use him, and that was it. There was nobody else. Sam Moll was left off the roster. He's down in AAA. So, we need somebody to come in, and when they have two left-handers in a crucial situation, come in and shut the door down. So that's one. You were talking about, a big power bat. Yeah, I've got some more stats. Looking back at the potential, like a year ago, when we're talking about big bats, targets, this past off season, free agents, right? Everybody was talking about Tyler O'Neill. He signed 3 years with almost $50 million for the Orioles. Profar, 3 years, 42 with the Braves. Santander, 5 years, 92 with the Blue Jays. Jock Peterson. So the top three, O'Neill batted 199 with 9 home runs, and he played in 54 games, 3 stints on the IL. Profar had to serve an 80-game suspension for PEDs. Santander had played in 54 games, 175 with only 6 home runs, IL for shoulder injury. He missed May all the way into September. Peterson was 2 years with the Rangers, 96 games, batted 181 with 9 home runs. And then Lewis Robert from the White Sox, $15 million for this year, $20 million team option for 26, 27, 110 games, 223 with 14 homers and a 661. And then Teoscar Hernandez, you weren't getting him. He was always going to go back to the Dodgers. So sometimes you roll the dice and it doesn't work like that. And that would have been a typical Red. We'd have spent all that money and they would have been injured, sort of like the Bengals, what we have.
I guess I agree with a lot. I mean, in terms of a power bat, it's going to be difficult to acquire. I don't even know who's on, who they potentially could even trade for. That's usually, I mean, they have prospects. They have young guys they could trade. If there's somebody that, I saw somebody mention Byron Buxton from the Twins, would be ideal because he's a center fielder. He hits for power. So, he's ideal with everything, except he has a no trade clause.
And he doesn't stay healthy.
He doesn't stay healthy and whatever. So, but it's going to be difficult, plus, if they were the Dodgers or whatever, and they could pay whatever they needed to, then, you definitely go Schwarber or Alonso. I guess I give a little bit of possibility to Schwarber just because of, he might come to Cincinnati.
Down.
I don't think Alonso is. I mean, what does he care about coming here? And because they ain't going to give him that money, and Schwarber's a little more limited. I don't know if his because he doesn't play. He's typically a DH or whatever. His market might be a little more limited. He's a little. I think he's a couple years older than Alonso. So I don't know. It's possible. I guess I'd be shocked. More shocked than Joe Flacco being a Bengal, but it's because of the money issue. Yeah, trying to get a bat. I think a big problem for the Reds or something they got to figure out is their positions. Just like they've got way too many guys who are the same kind of player, who are DH. Gavin Lux is a DH. Andahar, I know, a free agent, but he's a DH. Sal Stewart may end up being a DH. I don't think he's really that good in any position.
No.
So I think they got too many DH type players. Their outfield is still weak. I mean, you got Marte, who, I remember, over and over again hearing, well, you can't move Ellie because in the middle of the season, he won't know what he's doing in the outfield. But you move Marte and did the same thing. So why does Marte work, but not, why is that okay to do to him and not do it to Ellie? So I think the outfield is still way too weak. I am not a fan of Key Brian Hayes. I don't care that he's a great infielder. I think he's awful with the bat. and he is going to be the third baseman. I'm telling you right now, he will be the third baseman because
he will be.
Kona absolutely hated Marte at third base, and so you're going to have a best 230, 220 hitter, 5 home runs. I mean, that's your third baseman. So you're going to have to figure out some other positions like second base or something to, your third baseman is typically power and those kind of things. Well, you're not getting that. So, where are we going to make that up? So that's for me. It's just kind of a bad roster when it comes to fitting players into positions. And, I don't think Friedel's, I think he's over the hill. I think he had a horrible, not horrible, but he had a below average second half of the season. I think he's kind of on that. That's where he's going to keep going. So I don't think like you have any outfield position that to me should be locked in.
Yeah. All right. So I've got the list of players that the Reds need to decide by mid to late November if they want to negotiate a contract with these players or lose them to free agency. So we're going to play a little game. Are they coming back or not? All right. So Brady Singer, they're saying about $11.9 million.
Is that arbitration?
That's arbitration numbers. Yeah. About. Is he coming back or not?
I think he's coming back unless you can use him in a trade for a good bat. But I'd say he's back.
Okay. Santiago Espinal, $2.9 million.
No, get him out of here.
I don't think he's coming back either.
I wouldn't even take him for the league minimum.
No, just because we got too many. He didn't even play in September. He had like 5 at bats in September. So, yeah. Gavin Lux at $5 million.
No,
I think he'll be back because again, that's not that expensive, but he's another.
I think he'll be back as well.
He's again, where do you put him at though? He's not a good fielder in anywhere.
Tyler Stevenson at $6.4 million.
Yeah, bring him back.
Yeah, I think he'll be back.
Yeah, I agree. Ian
Jabot. No.
No, Jabot.
No.
Yeah.
Jabot for 1.5 million.
No way.
No. You can find any fat reliever out there for the league minimum.
Fat reliever who only pitches 10 games, or I don't even know how many pitches.
We got Big Sugar coming up, right?
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Zach yeah.
Or Jumbo Diaz is probably out there somewhere to take league minimum. So
how about Sam Moll at 1 point?
Probably not. If they left him off the roster.
Well, he was just bad this year.
And he was bad this year. But I say for 1.2, you roll the dice on him, and hopefully he figures it out because he was a very effective reliever for us.
His first 2 years here. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Lodolo, $4.3 million.
Who?
Lodolo.
Yeah.
That's another yes, unless you can package him for bat.
Big old bat. Yeah. Graham Ashcraft at $1.4 million.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. TJ Friedel at $4.9 million.
I want it to be no because I want somebody better there, but he'll be back.
He'll be back. That's a lot for your fourth outfielder, if that would be your fourth outfielder.
He's got to move off a center no matter what. He doesn't have the range for it anymore. It would have to be left field.
Yeah, because he has no arm whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So then Santion at $2.4 million.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's that high.
I think he already hit a year of arbitration, though. I think that's why.
Yeah, he's going to be at like almost 3.1 years.
Yeah, I would
Spencer
say yes.
Steer, $4.5 million.
He'll be a yes.
Yeah.
Well, Matt McClain will be a yes at 2.6, correct? And then, so here's the $1 million question for $1.7 million. Will Benson.
For how much?
I don't.
One.
I don't think so. If Francona has any say
not
at all,
a fan. He's not a big fan.
No, he's not.
Benson was not that Benson has any say in this, but he was absolutely livid at the end that last at bat.
Yeah.
I would have been too, though. So
when he just left the dugout. Yeah, he had. I think he had a right to be. So
yeah. All right. So with that, let's look at a couple of other things that they need to be a contender with. obviously the core guys, when we talk about the core, Ellie, McLean, Steer, Marte, in 2023, they did 378 games. Green, Abbott, Lodolo had 50 starts between them. They were 82 and finished in third place, 10 games out. 2 years later, 2025, this is the, what you want to call it. Those same four played in 545 games. Green, Abbott, Lodolo had 76 starts. It equated to one more win at 83 at third place, but they were 14 games out. They did make the playoffs. But to me, I think the one thing that has to change is our record against National League Central teams. We are horrible against National League Central teams. The Pirates are 67 and 55 since 2018 against us. And that is...
They're a playoff team against us.
Yeah, they're 549 against us. That's their winning percentage. We have to do a better job of beating the teams that we're supposed to beat. We can't go out to Oakland and get swept. We can't lose 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh when we're fighting for a playoff spot. We've got to take advantage of games like that. And the National League Central, we need to beat the Cardinals on a regular basis. We need to beat the Pirates on a regular basis, and we've got to split with the Cubs and split with the Brewers if we want to contend.
Can we put in? You put any faith in Green and Lodolo making it through a season on not on IL or very limited time on IL? Either one.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't. Hunter Green, and if we were to say what's one bold move you would make,
trading him.
He might be on the trading block.
You could get a lot for him because he's cost certain for the next 4 or 5 years. He's if he would pitch all season, he's a Cy Young contender.
Yeah, exactly.
So his ceiling is that high.
He doesn't trust the Reds medical staff, obviously, because they said he could have came out after that, but he was like, no, I feel something, which, you know your own body. And he sat out. And to me, that is, he is ace material as far as his stuff, but his makeup, I don't think is ace material. Right now, I don't. I think he's too soft mentally, too soft. For crying out loud, all last year he was puking in big games. How many times did he puke? So many times.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, holy cow.
They really didn't even have any big games that year.
Exactly. And so, he got his hydration down, but, you've got to be able to rise in those big moments. And you made a very valid point, Crawley, when we were talking in school the day. It's like, you look at the scores of all the other teams, and it's always a low scoring contest because their aces are pitching against each other.
Pitching,
and it's a real low scoring game. So, yeah, I don't know. All right. Any other thoughts before we move to our preseason predictions? Real quick.
Here's a question for you, which I'm just seeing if we all agree on this. As of the Bengals, as we speak, and the Reds as we speak, who do you have more hope for over the next
Reds
3 years?
Reds.
Yeah, Reds.
Even with the healthy Joe Burrow?
Yeah, well.
Because we had a healthy Joe Burrow last year in 9-8.
Yeah. And
I agree.
At this point, I don't even think you can hypothetically say with the healthy Joe Burrow. Right. I don't think that where, hypothetical exists.
That's like last week or 2 weeks ago, I said, here's a crazy thought. Shoot me, but
trade Joe Burrow. You said that,
yeah. Trade Joe Burrow. If you're gonna blow it up.
Blow it up.
Jamar Chase is gone. Keep T, because Jamar will pout and whine and complain. So, blow it up. All right, so let's look at our 2025 awards, and we'll see how close we are. So, all right, so the first one was the Corky Miller Comeback Player of the Year Award. I had Matt McLean, and Crawley, and well, just wait, Crawley and you had CES, and you said CES because he's going to hit 30 bombs. So that's exactly what. So
I didn't say that.
I think
I didn't say 30.
You didn't, but Sam did. I got it down 30 plus homers. So that would be a on all of us, I think.
I meant for Louisville. I knew CES would be back in Louisville. He'd be the comeback player of the year for Louisville. They'd send him back, and he would do well there.
The Big Donkey Sabermetric Award. We all had somebody different. I had McLean, which Sam, you had Ty Stevenson, which was Charlie, you had Ellie. Okay, so
I would win out of those three.
You would win out of those three, yes.
It's a low standard, but I'd win.
Yep. So the Spuds Sabo Rookie of the Year, and that means the first time here as a red, not a red rookie, like the first year playing. I had Jose Trevino, which started out great. I mean, great.
Yeah.
I think for a backup catcher, even he's fine.
He's yes, I liked him. But Sam, you had Brady Singer, which was a good pick, and then Charlie, you had Austin Hayes. So I think Sam wins that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
I mean, Hayes, it's ridiculous his injury stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And for $12 million, he ain't coming back. We're not picking up. We're not picking up his option.
If they can redo a deal for $3 million or something, sure.
Yeah, because they have mutual options, and one of them's not getting. Somebody's not picking that up.
Well, Hayes will take $12 million.
The Reds are going to say no.
I'm saying there's mutual. No. You'll get one side to agree to that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'll get one, and the other side won't.
They'll sign that quick.
Yeah. Well, the Reds might say, "Oh, okay, all right, we got a left fielder, clubhouse guy." All right,
no batting
Mario
gloves.
Soto. Yeah,
that's right.
Hey, that's all right. You don't have to wear batting gloves. The Mario Soto MVP pitcher of the year. All three of us said Hunter Green.
Yeah, probably Abbott.
Probably Abbott. Yeah.
I think Abbott.
Yeah.
From beginning and end of season.
Yeah. He has he was. I think he was the biggest WAR for us. The Brandon Drury. You won't be here by the All-Star break MVP. Sam and I had Ellie, and Crawley had McLean. Yeah. So
I'm the big loser on that one.
You are the big loser there. Sam and I won there.
I think I know I had McLean versus Almel's big too down the road.
Yeah, you did. So the Pedro Bone Rubber Arm Award. I had Brett Suter. Sam, you had Graham Ashcraft, and Charlie had
Tyler Rogers. Tyler. I still never remember who it was.
It was Taylor.
Are you sure?
Yes, that's what I got down here. Taylor Rogers.
Yeah, that was a big loss as well.
Yeah, so obviously that would have been Santion and then Barlow.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say of the three we said, I would go with Sam, you had who?
Ashcraft, yeah. Probably Ashcraft, yeah. All right, the SOB, Son of Bob, Executive Coach of the Year. We all went with Tito.
He underperformed.
He underperformed. I think Krall, we got to give Krall a little credit for a couple of those trades.
No, the Andujar trade was pretty good.
Yeah. And
Singer.
Singer trade was good.
Yeah, I was thinking more midseason.
Yeah. So those three were good. The Luke Weaver, not on my fantasy team.
The problem is we'd actually take Luke Weaver right now.
Yes, we would.
That's
not as a starter, though.
That's the whole irony. We would take Luke Weaver next year.
Yes.
So I need to change the name of that award.
Yeah,
it might need to be the Luke Weaver Comeback and Player of the Year now.
It might be. So the Stu Fairchild Award. I had Stu Fairchild. Sam, you had Spencer Steer.
Damn, you were down on him.
I was, yeah. Well,
and then Crawley had good. It did.
But compared to you had Fairchild, I had Alexis Diaz.
So yeah.
Both guys that got DFA'd
multiple times,
right? The Mike Minor League Player of the Year Award. We had Chase Burns, Sam and I think Crawley originally had Chase Burns, but he said he wanted to be different and went with Chase Petty.
Yeah, definitely Chase Burns.
And then Dr. Teddy Kremchek. IL award winner. We had Sam and I had Lodolo, and Crawley had Spencer Steer.
Who actually I don't think ever actually went on the IL. He was hurt half the season, but he never actually went on the IL, did he?
Never went on. He never went on the IL. He was the DH.
Yeah.
For the first 20 games.
He would have hit better on the IL than
yes,
he actually
probably would have
in those 20 games.
So that would have been Hunter Green, or
he didn't pull a rib or something at some point too.
Something like that. Yeah.
He still didn't go on the IL.
No, he's playing through it. It would have been Austin Hayes or Hunter Green, one of the two. I don't know.
Austin Hayes, just because he came back for a week and then was right back on it. At least Green's was one stretch.
Yeah. He got a ball barely deflect off his hand, and he had broken hand or something. I mean, it was crazy the stuff he went down with.
Yeah. So the Reds over under of 78.5. We all went over. I don't know what you said. Yeah, you did. I went like 84. You were at 90 or something. Yeah, that's right. So Crawley and I were both at 84 and 78, which was one off. So pretty good there. And then the most important position player.
I went from a real high to now real low on this.
Yes.
This is my other.
I went with TJ Friedel. And Sam and Crawley both went with Matty McClain.
You went Matt McClain as well, Sam. You're a big L. You took the L with that too.
Yeah.
My thought process was if they're going to be good, McClain's going to have to be good.
Right.
So,
right.
And
if McClain's your MVP,
so I really thought that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I had Friedel just because, coming back the leadoff spark and blah, 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 blah. And, first half of the year.
Of those two, you won.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
he was nowhere near the most important player, but.
No. But, who would be the most important position player? Would it be Ellie?
I think it'd still be Ellie.
I think it would still be Ellie, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Marte
I agree.
would, throw his, hat in the ring, but.
Yeah, he would have been he was probably comeback player of the year, right? Marte would have been.
Yeah, I would say Marte would be, unless was there a pitcher that was injured and came back?
I mean, Lodolo.
Well, Pagan.
Pagan.
He wasn't good the year before.
So
Pagan or Marte for sure, I think.
Right. Who's the pitch? Yeah, we said Abbott as the pitcher of the year.
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right, there you have it.
Another year down.
Another year down, and we'll be reviewing the Bengals.
You can do that tomorrow. Next week if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say, do it next week. We'll review after the Flacco. I saw the great shirt, Cincy shirts posted one already. It said, "Uh-oh, better get Flacco." I don't know if you remember that commercial. Uh-oh, better get Mako.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I saw something, or maybe I'm making this up, but I thought I saw where if the Bengals win, if Flacco's starting and the Bengals win, he'll be the first NFL player in history, first quarterback or something in history that started for two different teams and beat the same team in the same season or something. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he does
something to go for.
To trade him to somebody else who plays the Packers.
Right. Exactly. All righty. Let's wrap this thing up here. Let's land the plane, as they say. So we just want to say thank you for tuning in, listening, watching. If you enjoy the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and drop that comment for us. We want to hear your takes on the Bengals struggles, especially if you think Flacco's the answer or not. FCC's playoff push, what are they going to do? And tell us your Reds plans going forward here. Don't forget, you can play along with our weekly trivia challenge. We got it all this time, but next week there'll probably be a tougher one. But you can always submit your own trivia challenges at Cincy Sports Scene at yahoo.com or DM us on Twitter or Instagram at Cincy Sports Scene. And next week, like I said, we'll be back with our Mount Rushmore's letters G, H, and I. And until then, thanks for listening, and always go Cincinnati.
Take care.